Bam, we're live on YouTube. And bam, we're live on TikTok. And we're almost perfect. All right. Let me start sharing my screen. Got a busy week, fellas. Hope everyone is crushing it right now. This is the time of year. Right now, you get the push for the end of the year. If you're not busy right now, you're probably going to struggle to get through the rest of the year. Most homeowners have just put their kids back in school and they got to get that last little project in before the holidays. So this is that time of year. All right. Very good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you on TikTok, the deal is as follows. You just pop in any questions you want, and I will get to them as I can. What I do is I work off of a presentation that I put together, and that I'm sharing on the YouTube. All right. So let's get going. We've got about 12 minutes probably of content to go over. And then, of course, I'll answer any questions while we're doing it as well. All right, let's get started. So here we are. Selling. I've said this. If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. A lot of guys tell me, Mike, I don't like selling. I hate sales. I don't want to be a salesman. Nobody wants to. And the point is, what you're describing to me is not selling. You're describing poor salesmanship. It's like when you went to a furniture store. I was just in a furniture store over the holiday weekend. My girlfriend and I are looking to get some bedroom furniture. And boom, right away, you got people pouncing on you. Hey, how you doing? What are you doing here? What are you looking for? What do you want to buy? Look, we're just here to take a look. Leave us alone. Now, we want to buy something. We're not sure what. We want to buy something. We don't want to be sold. And that's how remodeling services work. The homeowner doesn't want you selling them, they want to purchase. And here's the thing, those of you that aren't getting the money that you want or the price that you want, the homeowner's selling you on why they shouldn't pay it. And you're buying their story and you're lowering your price. That's sales, my friend. So you're either selling well or you're being sold. So sometimes I'll joke and say, why don't you just hand the keys to the business over to your homeowners? Because they seem to be driving it and running it better than you. Selling is about answering questions and it's called persuasion. It's not selling. You don't force anyone into it. You help educate and you enlighten. You share with them things about the industry and why they should consider looking at the project differently. That's how you sell. Because what's happening for a lot of you right now, the homeowner is sharing their perspective and educating you on why they're not going to pay your price. So they're selling well. All right. So let's get into it. So, um, for those of you that care, you should check out a guy named Donald Miller. He helps people come up with amazing stories. People buy stories, especially in America. Our culture is ingrained with stories. Think of when you were a little kid. Almost every mom or dad reads their child some story, a nighttime story, this story, right? The little books. So it is ingrained into us subconsciously that we like stories. It's why we like TV shows. It's why we like Netflix movies. We like stories. Most of them are fantasies. That's not the point. The point is we like stories, right? Think about all religions. I don't care what religion you follow, you don't follow. At some point, somebody in a religious sect came up with a good story to sell to its people. Hey, this is the way to live your life. This is how you should do it. You do this, you don't do that. And here's why. That's a story. Okay. It might be true, it might not be. No one's ever died and come back to tell us what the real deal is. So, as of right now, they're all stories as far as I'm concerned until somebody comes back and says, hey, this is what really happens. All right. So, you need a story about your remodeling businesses. That's what homeowners buy. Here's the story. They want to buy peace of mind. They want to buy success. They want to buy we're not getting ripped off. They want to buy it's going to be a good investment in our home, right? That's what they're buying. That's what you have to learn to put into your story. All right. So let's get into it. Let me find my notes. I think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. So stories sell, right? It's day in and day out. Remodelers, you need those of you that are leading with numbers and specs and getting all technical. The homeowners aren't buying that. That's why they're fighting you. Homeowners buy off of emotion. They've always dreamed of having this house for their family, right? They've wanted that little corner house with the big tree in the front yard and the white picket fence since the day they were like 12 years old. That's the story they've been selling themselves, right? And then when they buy it and then it's a nightmare because it needs all kinds of work, that's another story. But the story is now they need someone to fix it up. So don't come in with all your facts and figures. That's not what they want. Sell them a story. People remember how you make them feel safe, excited, understood, not your square footage breakdown. Okay. Let's not get into the fact that you're doing a 3-piece cowl molding and it's 4 5/8 this and it's 3/4 that. And you're going to use the shoe molding over here and it's going to be stain grade. Nah, that's not what we want to get into. Story builds trust faster than any estimate ever will. You'll be shocked. When I first started in the industry, I really thought I needed to wow customers with how much technical shit I knew. Like, hey, I got this great way to do crown molding. Yes, because homeowners buy mortgage rates are unreasonable. You're right, Miss Maisie. So I would get technical and I would explain to them how nice we could do a 2-3-piece crown molding. That's not what they cared about. Finally, one day I just sat there and talked to the homeowner, and they were like, when we were growing up, our grandmother had this house and it had this. It had this ornate moldings from the 1920s. It had this fat built up crown molding, right? It had the little inlay in the ceiling. They had shadow boxing going up the stairwell. They had chair rail in the dining room. It's how the homeowner started to feel when I could tap into and say, listen there, Miss Prospect, how is it that you felt when you're at your grandmother's house? Oh, it was so grand. We felt like it was luxurious. It was the best. And I was like, is that how you want to feel in your house? Yes. I said, well, then that's what we're going to provide. I want you to envision that feeling of luxury and warmth and amazement. That's what we're going to provide for you. We don't talk about all the numbers and all that crap. You see what I'm saying? You connect with them here. All right. So, what is the Renegade Remodeler Story? So, in my world, I deal with rebels, renegades. Okay. Rebels are the guys that are first trying to get their business going. Those are you guys trying to get to like 750,000 up to like 1.5 million. In my world, I would call you a rebel. Renegades are the guys that are going to keep on going to the moon, right? They're going to hit 3 million, 5 million, 13, 30, whatever. So this story that I'm helping you break down, it originally was a framework that I offered to our high-end remodelers, the guys that are going to be doing or are doing 30 million a year. They need a good story, but you need it as well to build up. So that's why it's called the Renegade Story. All right, just so you understand the background. You need an origin story. You have to tell your client transformation story. It's how you went from chasing free estimates to commanding respect, right? You want to mirror what's in our remodeler ruble principle, where we stop being commodities and we start being CEOs of a real business. Now, your story is going to position you not as the hero. You're not the hero to the homeowner. You're the guide. Follow me on this. Homeowners need a guide. You're the one that's going to put them as the story. The homeowner's the main character. You're helping them get their home remodeled so that they can live and love it. You're just the guide. You're helping them along the journey. Okay. So the homeowner is Luke Skywalker for some of you. You are Yoda. You're the guide with the plan. Example, I used to give free estimates. I would get ghosted, right? One day I realized I wasn't in the business to be free labor. I was in the business to give homeowners confidence that their remodel would be done properly. That's when I stopped being the contractor and I could become like that renegade remodeler. Do you see the difference? I'm allowing the homeowner to have trust in me that I will provide. If they hand me the keys to their remodel, their house, I will get them to the finish line, which is to give them the house back in just a few weeks or a few months, better than they gave it to me, right? With no drama, no problems. They can sleep at night. They don't have to be worried that what we're going to fuck up tomorrow. Okay. Because that's the reality for a lot of homeowners. They worry themselves sick because they got a bunch of yahoos and strangers coming to their house every day, messing shit all up, and they don't know when they're ever going to get it back. All right. Part two. You want to blend it's a story brand. Okay. So it's a 7-part framework. There's the character. That's the homeowner. They want the beautiful, safe remodel. 2 is the problem. They fear chaos. This is what homeowners really fear when you break it down. They're afraid, they're concerned about looking stupid in their neighborhood, within their family, their circle of friends. They don't want to be the ones that everyone laughs at and says, "You idiots, you hired a jack off. He doesn't know what he's doing." And they don't want to waste money. You're the guide. You show up with empathy. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, I get it. This is challenging. I've been there. Yeah, I've tried to hire a remodeler. That's how I got into the industry. You're an authority. Here's my process. I go with the Spark process, right? Here's how we get you to the success, to the goal line, which is a finished product. We offer the paid plan session. You need to come up with your thing, okay? The plan. These are your frameworks. I offer you all weed the lead. It's how you figure out who to work with from the beginning. Then I offer the paid design plan. I have my applied relational intelligence. That's how you communicate, right? I have my profit framework, which is how you work through and influence the homeowner as to why your price should be your price. You have what's called a call to action, right? The homeowner needs to hire you to do the design and planning session first. Okay. Then there's what's called avoiding failure. See, without my system, everybody else is at risk. Blown budgets, delays, job might never get finished. You could be in litigation for the next 3 years. And I can show you stories of other people that have had that happen to them. Not when they hire us, but when they hire the cheap guy. And then you have to offer them success with you, with me, with my company, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. You sleep like a baby. Peace of mind. You have confidence knowing that you've made a prudent and wise decision. And you're going to get a dream space that you've always wanted at the end of this. You win on every page. End of story. See that? That's the success journey for the homeowner. The homeowner wants a happy ending to this remodeling story that they're about to go on. They don't want it to be a nightmare. All right. So this is how you take from struggle to shift to solution to success. All right. And I get it. Some of you, this is complex. You're hearing a lot right now. And this is, in all fairness, for me to try to break this down in 12 minutes, I'm not doing it justice. But I'm showing you like behind the scenes of what really happens. So take pieces of this and start putting it into place. Now, here's part 3. Where do you use the Renegade Remodeler Story? It's all in your sales presentations. You open when you're meeting with homeowners and they ask you about what it's going to cost. You first start with a story, not with numbers. You start talking with them, right? Also, your website and your about page needs to have your story. Make the homeowner the hero. We help homeowners have successful remodelers. That's what your story on your webpage should be. It shouldn't just be about how you have 30 years experience. Great. Awesome. What's that do for the homeowner? Help them understand that you have 30 years of confidently, successfully taking the most challenging homeowner problems and issues in your county, state, tri-state area, and you bring the ball home for the homeowner. That's right. You solve the most complex problems. And here's a list of all the homeowners that we've done it for. Your social media, whether you're on Instagram, TikTok, you want to have some quick transformational stories there. where you've taken the worst of the worst, those homeowners that had big problems, like the ugly kitchen that didn't work, and then you've turned it into this beautiful masterpiece. That's what you need. Also, you do client meetings and you use mini stories constantly. And that's tailored to remember the other night we went over the archetypes of the different homeowners that are out there. And when you learn the format learning system, then you start communicating in the way that is best received by the client. This is how it's all connected. Again, we're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Okay. Now, part 4, you match that story to the homeowner archetype, right? Is your story going to be leading with durability, trust, quality? Maybe. Or maybe you're going to be leading with how it's all glamorous and how it's going to be exquisite and they'll be the leader in their neighborhood. Or maybe your story is going to be sharing about how this is going to make everything safe so that the homeowner is confident and can raise their family and not have to worry about their kids being hurt or injured, right? It's a nurturing environment. Or maybe you help the homeowner with a safety checklist so that they understand that all their systems are going to work just right and there's a maintenance schedule to go with it so that this prevents uncostly errors and mistakes down the road. You see what I'm saying? You have to tailor your presentation to the way that what's important to the homeowner, because there's at least 12 archetypes that I went over the other night that you need to be aware of. Thank you, Angel. Hey, good to see you here, brother. My man. We're going to be seeing big things from you. This is going to be an amazing year. It's going to be fun. All right. So, part 5, you want to build the steps to your story. Okay. You want to write your origin story, your turning point. So, like for me, I share with homeowners, I originally wasn't going to be a remodeling contractor. I hired some contractors to come do work for me on houses that I was buying, and it was a nightmare. It was a disaster. It was horrible. And I explained to him, this is what happened. This guy came and caused more damage. This guy came for a week and then never came back. It took months. I had to find other people. This got screwed up. This guy, he had a drug addict helper, and his drug addict helper came back on the weekend and stole all the crap that they installed during the week and caused all kinds of damage, right? These are the stories that I share with the homeowner to let him know what it's really like out in the remodeling world. I used to have a roofer that I would hire when I was starting out. I subbed roofs out, and my roofer would say he knew I was a contractor, and off the side he would say, "Mike, what type of workers do I bring to this homeowner?" Because he had 2 types. He had the day workers, the guys that were all drug addicts, heroin, cocaine, you name it, that he could bring. They were only going to be good for like 1 to 2 days a week. So the job was going to take longer. It wasn't going to be the same guys every day because he would pay them in cash. As soon as they got their cash, they go get their fix. They all had records. It was horrible. Or he could bring a legit crew out to the site, right? Guys that had background checks and that insurance would be taken care of. That price was up here. What price did I want to pay? What price did the homeowner want to pay? And I share these stories with the homeowners. I'm like, this is what you're dealing with out there. So if you want the contractor who's picking up laborers, day laborers from the homeless camp down under the overpass, you know where it is, right? Those guys all have drug addictions and they're only going to be about sober for a few hours at best, right? And meanwhile, you have to be saying to yourself, are they going to be looking at my house to see if they want to come back and steal something in a week, a month, a year from now? I don't know. Or do you want to go with the contractor who's a few $1,000s more, but his clients and his workers are legit? You choose. All right. You position yourself as the guide, and this is key. Here's the villain. You're not the villain. Your price isn't the villain. Free estimates are the villain. Shady contractors are the villain. Chaos and projects that never get completed, they're the villain. You have to put that into your story. And then you show your transformation at the end, right? This is the happy clients, the peace of mind, them living happily ever after. So apparently tonight I am touching on topics that TikTok is saying they want to restrict. I must be too aggressive in my talking, and they must not like it. So that's interesting. I don't usually get that message that they're restricting who's going to be able to see this message tonight. Anyhow, so your story is not, oh, that's probably because I talked about the drug addicts. Yeah, and the homeless people. All right. So your story is not, this is what's crazy about the world right now. I don't even know if a lot of you guys realize this. All the people that are putting content on social media, that we're all being censored. We can only say certain things. So you're not even getting like real truth if you're only getting your information from social media, because I can't use certain words, right? And I can't tell certain stories or else everything gets censored or shut down. So anyway, it's just good for those of you out there to be aware of this. This is what happens on social media. I don't know what is happening. I I think I'm being, anyway, I'm gonna wrap things up because tonight, obviously, I touched on some sensitive things that TikTok doesn't like. So again, your story, it's not about you. It's about showcasing that the homeowners, that you understand their struggle and that you have a plan to get them to success. That's the Renegade Remodeler story. You build it, you practice it, and you use it in every presentation. Man, I apologize for those of you that are here live. Please forgive me. It's crazy. I really didn't think that any of this topic was going to be that sensitive towards TikTok standards. So you may want to just jump on in over onto the YouTube uh, and to watch the replay, because as far as I know, it's not being censored on YouTube. All right. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff here's what you want to do at the end of the day. You have to create a prompt in your AI choice, like whether it's DeepSeek, Grok, ChatGPT, and you have to say to it that you want to create your story for your remodeling company that you're going to explain to homeowners. And you need to do it in the way that follows Donald Miller's 7-step story brand offer. And it'll help guide you through that. Okay. Because at the end of the day, your story needs to be about how you solve the issue and guide the homeowner through the remodeling journey. And when you start doing that, you're going to be shocked at how easy it is to really sell and be successful in remodeling. So that's what I have for you tonight. If anybody has any questions, please put them in. Be happy to answer anything. It looks like TikTok's let me back on, and it looks like YouTube everything's fine there. So uh, if there's no questions, no worries. I know this was a lot to take in for one of these types of sessions. So, but this is the real deal. This is what makes the difference in your business. Uh, I wished I would have learned this from day one. It took me several years to learn a lot of these concepts. All right. So I think from what I can tell, that might be everything. I don't see any new comments coming in. All right, guys. I appreciate you being here. Um, I'm going to end my screen share on YouTube. All right. You guys all have a good one. Uh, Thank you. And hopefully next time I'll be more cognizant of the words that I'm using so that we don't get shut down and restricted on TikTok's live. It's kind of crazy that you can't even talk about the reality of the world. Uh, but that's what it's like in remodeling. All right, guys, you have a good one. Take care.